Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man, and the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. But that color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you'll notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's going, showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And then the hands, similarly, where below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes. Shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
Before Liz will demonstrate on the feet, I will bring up another slide and show you in an illustration where to work on the feet. So take a moment and look at that. And now I'm handing it over to Liz.
Thank you, Stephanie and Bill. Hello, everybody. So as Stephanie and Bill have described just before, we work in priorities. And for the stomach reflex, the foot is their first priority place. So we've got a left foot here. And what I've got marked here is the diaphragm line. So just like the diaphragm that sits under our ribs, okay, this is a mark point for knowing the stomach reflex that's just underneath that. And on the map that Stephanie has just shown us, we recognize that it is the plantar side or the underneath side, the bottom of the foot, that we find the stomach reflex. Most of it is on the left foot with a little bit being on the right foot. Now, what I want to show you is how we reflex this area. I'll hold it this way so you can see it easier. But we do a term which we call thumb walking or caterpillar walk. And this is the easiest way to massage your foot. So basically, what you're doing is you're depressing into your skin, okay? And then release a little bit and you flick your finger or your thumb forward, depress and down again, and then across. So you're caterpillaring your way across the reflex area. So we'll show you on the foot here. So you can work from the lateral side to the medial side or vice versa. And we want to go pretty much all the way across, directly underneath this diaphragm line. Then we can come back down the other way. I'm just going to use my finger just so it's easier to show you. So I'm pressing in as I go down through there, up again, like this. And as Stephanie mentioned, the slower you go, the more beneficial it is going to be to you. Okay. Now I'm just going to tilt my screen so that you can see on my foot. And what I'm doing is I'm just sitting in a chair here. Hopefully you can see this all right. So I'm sitting in a chair and I've got my ankle onto my knee here so that it's protecting my ankle. And then my opposite knee, if it's feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you can cushion that underneath, okay? It's really important to be nice to your body as you're working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflex with that little caterpillar walk that we showed before, all the way up and across. When I first started out doing reflexology, which was over 10 years ago now, I went tramping or hiking in the backcountry of New Zealand with my little sister. We'd had dinner and we were sitting down playing cards. You want to follow along with this, that's all good. And she was complaining that she had a bit of indigestion, her stomach was feeling a bit uncomfortable. So I grabbed her foot and I started doing this to her. Within 10 minutes, she put her cards down on the table, she ran outside, and I could literally hear her becoming more and more comfortable. We both had a very good giggle at this, and thankfully we were the only ones in the hut at the time. But we were both very amazed how quickly it worked. Now, if you want to switch to the opposite foot, to our right foot, see that there, and it's only a little bit. You don't need to go all the way across on your right foot. You can go both ways there. Okay, There we go. That's it for our left and right feet. Hopefully you've enjoyed that and followed along. We'll catch you guys later on. Handing it back to you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Liz. That was wonderful. And you showed it very precise. And I hope you were able to follow along at home, and encourage you, of course, to keep working on it at home for homework, and every day a little bit if you have stomach discomfort. Now, Paul will show you how to work the hands, because we are not all as flexible as our lovely Liz, and not everyone can put the foot on their leg. Before I hand it over to Paul, let me share the screen again and show you the image where to work on the hands. I hope you can see all the image and take a moment to look at that. You can also notice it's not just on your left hand, a little bit on the right hand too. Paul, you
Hello,
are
everyone.
up to explain now where to work on the hands.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate the introduction. So just a review. Stephanie just showed us on the map where to work with that reflex. Then by the magic of television or the internet, we have placed the stomach reflex. So the main thing we want you to notice is that we're in that yellow area, the abdominal area. And we are going to show how to work that on the hand, and how to work really the whole area to relax not only the stomach, but the organs and muscle structure surrounding the stomach as well. Okay. So if we take our left hand and we see yellow on our left hand, we know we're in the right spot. And then we have the black depiction of where the stomach reflex is located. So we'll show this briefly, and then we'll all do this together. So let's take our left thumb for a walk again, like Liz demonstrated for us. And we're going to start just with that working across. You'll notice we're not confining ourselves just to the stomach, moving along a bit below and a bit above, all the way across this area, up and down. It can be done from the opposite side if you're more of a gymnast, but then we can also work cross this way, just taking that thumb for a walk all the way across your palm, all the way across. And again, from the outside and all the way across. So now that we've seen it, let's everyone, if you would care to take your left hand, let's do this together. And we'll have a nice relaxation session for our stomachs and our abdominal, muscular, and intestinal area all in through here. I'll tell you a little story about a client of mine. Happens to be a client of the medical clinic where my office is. This woman, about a year and a half ago, had her stomach removed. Guess where we go when she has problems digesting food? We still go to the stomach reflex. And we've worked together for quite some time now. And so she's able to tell me, she said, when you start working the stomach reflex, I can start to feel the food that sometimes is trapped in the esophageal area begin to move down through and into the digestive area. So even though she has no physical stomach, there's still relationship to this spot. All right. All right. So I hope everyone has enjoyed working on their stomach through the left hand palm or the palmar surface of the left hand. And yeah, we suggest that if you do have issues with stomach pain or stomach problems, that 5 minutes a day is not going to be excessive, and should benefit you in most cases quite well. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Paul. That was wonderful. And indeed, it was very relaxing. Now we're coming to the ears. And after I show you an image where we find the stomach reflex on the ears, I will actually demonstrate it. So take a moment to look at the picture where it's black here. That's where the stomach reflex is on the ear, in the very center. Now, there are several ways to do this. And I show this first on my big plastic ear here. That's easier to see than on my own small ear. So several ways to find it. In the lower concha we have, or in the lower valley, we have the ear canal. So from the ear canal, find the ear canal with your index finger and move up. There you find a small ridge. And when you're coming to that ridge, you will find closer to the face, you will find a little notch. You can feel it with the tip of your index finger, almost with the nail part of your index finger. You can move a little bit around on that ridge, and where you find that little notch in there, then you flatten out your index finger more, and then you're on the stomach reflex, as well as you're also on a very powerful master point, which takes care of abdominal pain too. But you are, with the tip of your index finger, you are on the stomach reflex. Now, the other way to find this point is when you're coming from the outer ridge. You trace with your index finger the outer ridge toward the face and coming to the center of the ear. And you're arriving again on that little notch where the master point is, 0 point. Flatten out the index finger a little bit, and then you're on stomach reflex. Now, Bill and Paul and Liz, they all said most of the stomach reflex is on the left, on the feet and the hands. On the ears, we do both ears at the same time. We have a stomach reflex on both ears. And I will show you now on my own ear how to find it, the two ways. You find with your index finger the ear canal, don't close it. But then you're moving up to that slight ridge, find that little notch with the tip of your index finger, and with a pat of your index finger, flatten out. And now you have your index finger on the stomach reflex, as well as that master point, 0 point. The other way is, again, tracing the outer ridge toward the face, following the ridge into the center of the ear, and there you arrive again on the stomach reflex. Now you do that on both sides. Put your elbow maybe on a table in front of you so that you don't hike your shoulders up, relaxing your shoulders. Find both stomach reflexes with a pat of your index finger and hold it gently, both ears at the same time. If you don't have a table, if you're working later on at home, you can also put a big pillow in front of you and put the elbows on top. As long as you're relaxing your shoulders, that's important. We can hold this for several minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So if you feel any discomfort, stomach discomfort, Doesn't have to be pain or any nausea, any kind of nausea. Let's hold this for a moment. Both hands at the same time, both ears. I also have a story not from a client, actually my sister-in-law. We were meeting up in the mountains, camping, and it was a windy road up there. And when we arrived up there, I was a little nauseous from driving on the curvy roads. So I took care of my stomach reflex, just holding these stomach points on the ears. And it quickly dissolved. I was not nauseous. After a couple of minutes, I was not nauseous anymore. My sister-in-law arrived and she couldn't get out of the car because she was so car sick. So I showed her how to do it on her own ears. And she held it, and 5 minutes later, she came out with a smile and no nausea anymore, and we could enjoy our camping trip. So that's the stomach reflex on the ears.
It was good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate, we would appreciate your helping us, but just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.